what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Monday Halls Live. This is episode number 59. I can't believe we've been doing this for 59 long episodes, but it has been a whole bunch of fun. So excited to see you guys already arriving in the chat and hanging out. Yes, I see the question, Rama Starchild. Looking forward to, we'll touch on that, definitely, for sure. But very excited to see everybody here right now. I'm going to do a couple of quick announcements just to let everybody know what's going on in our neck of the woods. And then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. I think MT may be joining us in a little bit, but right now he is not here with us. So just send him a message. All right, so yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing some of the books that I've got that I've picked up over the past week to week and a half, probably a little bit longer, but we're going to get to that in just a second. Right now, I want to make sure and remind you that we've got 3 different shows that we do on a regular weekly basis over here on my channel. This is Carlos Collects Comics, and this is we are excited about everything that's going on here with the channel and just how much growth we've seen over the past year. We have broken 1,000 subscribers, so that means that it's going to trigger our next milestone giveaway. We're going to be sharing a little bit more about that as well. But just to remind you, Monday Halls Live happens every Monday at 10 p.m. Central. That's generally hosted by myself and MT. MT is our resident expert guru on all the precious metals comic books. That is gold, silver, copper, and Bronze Age comics. MT keeps a good eye on what's going on with those. Then on Wednesday nights, we have the giveaway show, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It is our time to hang out and talk with the community and then to do some fun giveaways. We've got some of those coming up for fun this week. Looking forward to sharing those, and we've got some cool stuff planned over the next couple of weeks. And like I said, I'll be setting a date for the 1,000 subscriber milestone giveaway because we have broken that milestone, and that's a really cool place to be at in the life of a YouTuber. But a big shout out to the rest of the guys that hang out here and that help host and cover all the different duties with the channel, because they couldn't happen without them. But remember, the giveaway show, 10 p.m. on Wednesdays. That's 10 p.m. Central. That's also a live stream show. And then Friday nights, most Friday nights, there is a brand new feature, the most recent of which is a top 10 list for my picks for amazing Spider-Man comics that you should be picking up right now. I had a lot of fun with that. I'm working on my Green Lantern my Green Lantern top 10 list, and that's going to be a fun list that I've put together. Can't wait to share that with you guys. And then we've got other stuff on here. Some of you most of you, if you're a regular viewer, but have probably seen our Comic Collecting for Beginners. That's a 4-part video series for free for new comic book collectors. And guess what? Even if you've been collecting for a while, there's still some cool tips in there that you might enjoy, but that can be found in its own playlist here on the channel. Last but certainly not least, we've got our survey, like over in the community tab. That is always hopping. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I drop brand new polls, brand new surveys, just to kind of get a feel for everybody and what they're thinking, where their head's at, because all kinds of cool questions. We've taken polls on what Paul's official comic name should be. We've taken polls on how much you spend on a regular basis, what team you would join, who would win in an all-out death match, all kinds of fun stuff. So head on over to the community tab if for the channel if you have not been there. So make sure and do that as well. Always excited to see you guys here. Let's do a couple quick shout outs to the chat, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. For Pete Sake, it's good to see you tonight. Bry Guy, glad that you're here with us as well. Yes, Paul was out and about at another small show this weekend, and he might or might not be Darkhawk in disguise. But I will say this: my only clue is that I've never seen Darkhawk and Paul in the same room at the same time. That's all I'll say about it. Rama Starchild, do you see prices dropping for comics in your area? I've seen Golden Age for sale that I haven't seen in years. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that, but we'll get to that in a second when MT and I are on. El Green Machine, what's up? Good to see you, sir. Glad that you're here with us, hanging out again. Spider Girl, always a pleasure to have you there. Brooklyn Born, glad that you're here with us. Let's see, Spider Girl there, Spider Girl saying hello to everybody. That's always good. There's 4 Pete Saga again. Mr. Collector, what's up? Good to see you, sir. Mike Bravo, glad that you're here as well. And we've got a great group going in the chat. So we are glad to have you guys here. And let me go ahead and bring on my esteemed co-host here, Mr. MT1 Comics. MT,
hey guys,
how's it going?
Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Let me exit full screen so I can see who's in the chat here. Great. Got an all-star chat here tonight. Got some cool stuff to bring you. If anybody doesn't know, I went to a convention on Saturday and walked away with a long box of comics. As we all do, spent more than I had hoped. I'm one of these people who pull out cash and say I'm not gonna spend any more than the cash I have in my pocket, and it never, ever works.
It doesn't last.
No, I'm pulling out the card in the first half hour.
Yeah, it holds for a little while.
Because I will say this is a little tip to people, a little insider trading type knowledge. Classically, late August, early September, comic book sales slow and prices drop. And like that is like the best time for a serious collector to be buying a lot of comics, right? Especially when you get in towards the winter months. People are indoors, they're reading more books. Christmas comes around, things like that. Tax return comes around in the winter. Comic sales go way up, prices go up again. So like now is when I'm buying the bulk of my comics, is during this season, because it's typically when you can get the best prices. So that is my insider trading tip of the day. I've got some shipping nightmares to share with you all. I know you all love those. So we've got some gems. I've got one that I believe might hit the top 3 wall of shame.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna. It's a great story got to tell. So when that comes around, I've got I kind of dwindled down my cold opens for tonight. I'm trying to fill a lot of orders and requests for books for me to dig out, and I didn't get home from work till 9 o'clock, so I'm a little bit behind on that. So hopefully we can keep the show a little bit shorter than 2 hours, but we get excited. We have a good time here. We love having you guys with us. Love hearing what you have to say, what you think. So please let us know.
Awesome. Well, hey, we're looking forward to sharing some stuff with you guys. Quick shout out to Joker Gets, Carlos DLR. Good to see you guys here as well. And yes, Mr. Collector, that is a great piece of advice. Right now, as MT said, right now it is a buyer's market, and it is a great time to be upgrading. I personally have had to slow it down just a little bit because I got a little bit behind, but I need to. But yeah, there are some great books and some great deals. I actually had a couple of those approach me, so that was always fun. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and share some of the books that we've got that we've picked up. Like MT, I'd gone to a Labor Day sale. I still haven't shown all those books. I have a massive stack of Submariner books. I may show some of theirs, but some of those. But for this first round, I'll go ahead and MT. You want me to kick it off?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Awesome. So, hey, I picked up a few books. Some of these are even as far back as I think it was July. So I went to a convention called Fan Expo Dallas. I don't know if I showed these books because they were packed away, and I have just now gotten around to unpacking some of these books. So I came across, so if you're an animal lover, I came across a really cool, and I am, we got a dog. She's a rescue. We love her. And, we rescued her from a really bad situation, really bad guy. And so we love animals and we love to try to do our part to help them. So there's a comic book, an independent comic book. His company is called Sigma Comics. And I wanted to give him a shout out because it is called Here Comes Calico. So Calico is a superhero who avenges for abused animals. And so it's definitely a neat way to draw attention to some of the abuses that are put upon innocent animals. And, hey, here's the deal. Animals, they're innocent creatures, God's creations. They don't deserve to be cruelly treated or poorly treated. Not because they're like above humans or anything like that, but just because, hey, they don't deserve that. They're innocent and they're a gift for us. So I thought this was pretty neat. So I picked up, this is issue number 1, and he signed that right down there above his name. It also came with, I think this is like a sticker or it's a trading card. That's right here.
Right.
And then I've got issue number 2 here also. Issue number 3 right here. So really cool books, nice production quality. There's a ton of independent books out there. I certainly sometimes will shout them out, and I felt like it was more than appropriate to shout this out, because this is we're coming up on the season when we got our rescue dog. And so what you can do is you can find out more. Now it is a little bit harder edge content inside of it. I think some cursing and some violence, but you can subscribe at sigmacomics.com. If you're interested, and if you're watching this on the rewatch or anything like that, you can go to sigmacomics.com. I'll make sure and drop that in the chat. Because just neat little comment. You can go to the website, read more about it. And I thought it was a neat series. They are continuing to do new issues. They are still producing new ones. So these 3 are not their only ones. I think they might have 4th and 5th ones out. But I wanted to showcase that. Also at Fan Expo Dallas, I guess a lot of the different conventions have done this exclusive. I know everybody's sick of convention exclusives, but I thought this one was a really cool one that I picked up. So this was in the Batman number 50 exclusive convention edition. Look out, Dallas, the Joker's back in town. And then it's got its little Shop Fan Expo deal. And normally I don't go for convention exclusives, but it's probably going to be a little bit before I can get my own copy of Batman 251. So I picked this up for the so I picked that up just for the personal collection, hold on to it, and as a cool little keepsake for the weekend, because I did take the boys up there and had a good like father-son weekend, so that was a lot of fun. Last book I'll share in this round is going to be Sacrament. This is Sacrament number 2, the second issue of this series. I talked about the first issue, but this is an interesting one because it combines some things that I'm interested in, which is like theology and kind of some elements of demon possession, theological elements tied into it. It combines that with science fiction. What would you do if there was?
Who's the publisher on that one?
This is one of my favorite indies right here, AWA Upshot.
So this is what, like, why does God need a starship?
No, the interesting thing about this is, so there is priest performing sacraments has been outlawed. So the hero priest in this is a disillusioned priest who is losing his faith and is being smuggled from place to place in like cargo ships and other types of small craft to perform a digital version of communion, which is they came up with their own little thing there, and that's very interesting in and of itself. But then the government comes looking for him because it looks like a demonic possession has occurred, and it's some sort of demon alien hybrid thing going on. We don't know enough about it yet within the storyline, but it's an interesting science fiction spiritual horror film. Or maybe not film, but series. So, and the thing I like about AWA Upshot, they're also the ones who did Primos, and they did Erratic, and they've done some other titles that I've really enjoyed. But the neat thing is that they go ahead and try it out for 4 or 5 issues, sometimes 6, and then from there they'll say, okay, let's evaluate it. Let's see, do we want to bring it back for a second run, which is what currently launched with Erratic. I showcased that last week. That they have relaunched a new miniseries for Erratic, and I just like the way they're doing it. I like some of the stories they're doing. So this is an interesting one I'm picking up. Again, content a little bit much in some cases, but it fits the story and the tone. So I thought that was cool. So hey, just a couple more quick shout outs, and then I'm going to pass it back over to MT. What's up, comic book champ? Good to see you. He says he's here for the Savage shipping displays.
People do love that segment. People do love that segment.
They do. All right, Joker Get says had an Invincible book came in today in between 2 pieces of cardboard, shipping nightmare, and it rained today. Oh no!
Hey, 2 pieces of cardboard is a step up, my friend.
yeah, some of them, yeah. And let's see. Hey, what's up, Bry Guy? Good to see you. And then, so we got a good, and that's good, Spider Girl. I'm glad that you're an animal lover. And y'all make sure and let Cat Fan know about Calico as the independent comic that you can find. I'll drop the link down in here. But let's go ahead and bounce it over to MT and let him show us some of his favorite pickups from this past week.
Okay, I have got a short little PSA before I show you the first shipping nightmare of the day. I was late last night, didn't get home with enough time before the show, so I was kind of rushing, trying to put some stuff together because I needed to show somebody. And this is why I get rid of Scotch tape immediately when it comes in on a book. Okay, so I've got tape that is now stuck to a Bronze Age comic book.
Oh.
If I were to just pull this tape off, I would destroy this book. Okay. Over the next segment, I'm going to come back and show you how I was able to successfully remove this piece of tape without damaging the book. Okay. If you come across this and you put a piece of tape on a valuable comic, you need to contact me and I will bail you out. All right. Don't just pull the tape off. Don't do it. It can be repaired. I will help you through this. We will get through it together. Reach out to me, okay? So don't destroy comic books for the world by pulling the tape off. Okay, I just want to get that little PSA out there. I'm going to come back after the next segment. I'll show you how I was able to remove that. I'll get into my con stuff here in a minute. Wouldn't be a Monday if I didn't have a yellow envelope waiting for me when I got home. So I got a yellow envelope today here for you. I've got this very creative packaging.
Nice.
Together.
Nice.
That is some engineering if I've ever seen it. Interesting to see what that ends up looking like.
Does that have a return label of Professional Comics on it?
No, it does not. I will say Paul actually does a fair job shipping.
Yeah, he does.
I asked him about it, but he does do a fair job shipping. I also have a YouTube seller or an eBay seller that I told him I'd give him a shout out because I write these paragraphs out to these eBay sellers. Normally, I'm just about giving up completely buying from eBay. I'm just done with it. But there's some stuff on there that I can't find anywhere else, right? But this guy had a great response to my comment. Usually I get, look at my comments. I ship great. And then I get crap like this. You know what I mean? So this guy had a good response. He went above and beyond packing the books. I'm going to shout him out. I'll grab his name in the next. So not only am I calling out the wall of shame, but I should be calling out people who do a good job as well, right? All right. So this was my nightmare today. As some of the guys who know me or have been around for a while know that I have been on a lifelong goal to get the entire run of Kool-Aid Man in high grade. This was like a promotional comic that got destroyed by kids.
Yeah.
Finding these in high grade is nigh impossible, right? Nigh impossible. And usually when I buy these, I'm buying 6, 7, 8 at a time. This happened to be a 3-book deal. And let's see if we can get a good shot of this. This is like a size 12 in a size 9 shoe is what I think I can best describe this as. So I basically gave the guy, I said, I've been buying for comics online for 20 some years. I said, I don't think I've ever had anybody purposely damage a book to ship it to me. You had to push this thing down in there when you boxed this up. And his response was, well, I put bubble wrap on the top. On the top? I just don't have words. But like at the same time, it's like you gave me stellar content here. But I'm going to say this is one of the top 3 dumbest things I've ever seen. So
there was no bubble wrap under it. It was just he shoved it down in there and put bubble wrap
down
on
in there and put bubble wrap on top, and thought that was going to do something other than shove the thing down in and increase the book more. So now it's got a bunch of spine breaks. They're giveaway books now, right? He did refund my money. He did apologize and refund my money. I will say that he was a toy dealer and not necessarily a comic book seller, but still, I mean, this is like comic.
That scares me.
So this is why this book is very hard to get in high grade. That and there's like puzzles and crap inside that kids would draw or write their name on or fill the puzzle out. There's the little activity stuff. So getting these in high grade is very impossible, and why I'm willing to pay up for it. Number 3 in particular can go for $70, $80 if it's in high grade. That one is extremely difficult to get. But anyways, the hunt continues. We have a new member for the Wall of Shame. But I did get a refund, and he was pretty reasonable about our interactions. Like, you are so, because I get a lot of crappy shipping. I get a lot of shipping, so it's the law of averages, guys. Not that it's anything in particular, but your usual immediate response is to jump online or like leave a bad review and just tear this guy or this girl a new one, tell them how stupid they are. But like, you're not going to get a good response from that. I'm not out to ruin somebody's business who may deal in toys, who happen to sell me some comic books. So I usually go to them directly, try and be as civil as I can, and provide some positive, critical, constructive criticism. I think that's the best way to go through life. And I hope you guys can do that. You might have a better response to getting a refund or a discount on your book. Okay, this one I'm gonna do one more, and we'll save this one. Save these other 2 for the next segment. So this one came in this bag like this. These are another one I hate seeing. This ranks right up there with yellow envelopes, right? So I see this, I pull it out, and the first thing I see is this. I'm like, oh, I'm saving this for the show. I am saving this for the show. Look at that.
That's wow.
I mean, that's creative. I mean, it's like a piece of art, abstract art. I mean, honest to God, I don't understand how you would ship something to somebody else. Like, packaging is a big deal of comic book selling. You should be feeling like you're opening a present on Christmas morning when you get a package of books, you know what I mean? And that's half the fun of buying this stuff and having it mailed to you. You get stuff like this and you're immediately in a pissy mood about it. And you're like, all right, now I got to reach out and try and educate this guy on shipping. But let's see how bad it is. Maybe it survived this creative shipping. And the problem is, I buy $200, $300 books, and they come like this. That's what really. We all saw what happened with my first Gamora book here 2 shows ago, I think. And what do you know? It's another Kool-Aid Man book. And this one is not going to cut it. It's too bad. Got some spine breaks and some tanning. I don't know that this one would have ever had a shot at a high grade. It certainly looked a lot better online. Can't win them all, I guess. Can't win them all. But at any rate, I was also trying to buy an extra Kool-Aid Man book to send to my buddy Gino. But maybe not. Okay, maybe I'll open one more. One more. We'll do the accursed yellow envelope here. Yeah, that Gamora was a tragedy. And like, you've robbed the world of a high grade key book, man. Whether or not, I had it, somebody else could have owned it. Shopping bags, never a good sign. Never a good sign. We're probably talking no bags or boards. Double down on the garbage bags. Tragedy. Oh, but look at this. We do have something redeeming here. He has put a backer board on top and bottom of the stack, which you should all do if you ship things, and then you tape with pull tabs to the backer boards, so you're not taping the comic book bag itself, because you'll ruin the bag. You might be able to damage the comic, right? Oh yeah, this was in my attempt to get more McFarlane Hulk books. Oh, I see he's got front and back. I was gonna say it looks like I'm missing some. Because McFarlane did like one Hulk, and then he didn't do another cover for 3 or 4 issues. I'm trying to remember, bring this back to my mind. Now, this is a key book for some reason, and I can't remember what that is. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. 328. This could be the first McFarlane artwork, like he did the pencils or something. I love that cover. That's a great cover. Well, that's certainly not. Yeah, there's McFarlane right there. I've had a lot of requests for McFarlane Hulks, and I kind of like sold my PC copies, and I didn't realize that, so I was trying to get some more. This is a really popular book. For whatever reason, every time I get one of these, usually someone wants it. Here's a cool book, though. I don't remember that one.
There's some people that collect just the 25th anniversary frame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is kind of like long hair renegade type Hulk, right? From the 90s. Everybody had mullets and whatnot. That's what I'm getting out of this. Hulk didn't most of his life. Hulk had a salad bowl haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there's the old salad bowl haircut. And here he's kind of going 90s renegade motorcycle guy, mullet man. Cool books there. I want to let me show you a couple of things I got here at the con that are maybe stuff that maybe you don't necessarily know about. Maybe some obscure books or some things maybe you haven't really seen before. And then I've got some great Golden Age books I want to show you all. So again, like I've been chasing these bronze obscure titles from Marvel that were in the Bronze Age. And one of the things they did in the Bronze Age were these Marvel movie specials. And this was a movie called Deep. I love monster covers, sea monster covers. It is a weakness for me, but you've got a bikini clad gal there diving down on a treasure with a snake sea monster. A Columbia Pictures sensation. Just a cool, really well done cover. Very cool. This is something that really I only became aware of because of Michael Pressis, and was Topps had a short-lived tenure of doing comic books. This was in the 90s when baseball cards were exploding. The bubble finally collapsed, but Topps tried their hand, and they were able to pay Jack Kirby quite a bit of money to do their comic books. So this is one of Jack Kirby's original creations, the Night Glider. Very distinctive Jack Kirby artwork. It's got some weird wrinkles in the bag here, but this was a high-grade near mint copy of this. It's a #1. I have no idea how many issues it went through, but very cool looking. Almost kind of looks like Black Bolt a little bit. But still one of these things where there's not a high print count for these comics. So when I see them, I get them. I mean, it's King Kirby, original character. Starting to dabble a little bit more in Bronze DC. Okay, so I saw this Claw #1 character I'm not familiar with. It's a sword and sandal book. I'm a sucker. As a He-Man fan, I'm a sucker for sword and sandal type comics, and it was a first issue. I don't have much into it whatsoever, and it was actually pretty high grade copy for not having a backer board in it. Pretty impressive. #1 at any rate. #1.
Nice.
Yeah, before I get to that, I'm going to do this. Okay, so on the order of a Jack Kirby comic book, I saw this one, which I didn't even know this existed. This is the Leonard Nimoy.
Oh yeah.
Right? So this was put out by Techno Comics in '95. I'm sure it was short-lived. Leonard Nimoy kind of created these characters with Isaac Asimov, who he's been involved in a lot of movie productions, I think. Carlos, is that a name you're familiar with?
He's a like one of the upper echelon science fiction prose writers. So he's dabbled in everything. Yeah, he's done novels. I mean, well, novels is what he's known for.
Right.
And then he's also done film. He's done comics. He's done radio, I think. I mean, he's a prolific science fiction writer.
And so this was not necessarily written by Nimoy, but these were characters created by Nimoy. And the interesting thing about this is I've been kind of listening in on a little bit cross-collecting things, and they've been talking about some of the best ways to get high-grade cards that these guys have been grading are ones that are included in comic books because they've kind of been protected a little bit better than some of the other ones. So this one has a trading card game piece in the middle, which was kind of cool because, it's got a call the hotline now, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What is that about? I bet you that number is still active. Oh, there's a game piece. Oh, so you can do a little scratch and win. So maybe this is the $1 million comic right here. Who knows, right? You see the little scratch
Oh,
out?
yeah.
Reminds me of the Monopoly game at McDonald's where, like, for 5 years, the guy running that competition gave all the awards to his friends, and there was the big FBI case against that guy. It's like all the people pulling Monopoly pieces never had a chance to win any of the stuff. Let's see here. You don't want to cut the tape. Don't cut the tape tracks. Don't do it. Don't do it. Leave it just how it is and get a hold of me. That's what you do. Okay, so here is another one. This is very near and dear to my heart. And this is Ultimates 3. I bought another set of these. I found them in a back bin. This is the pinnacle of the Ultimates universe, in my opinion. I collected Ultimates from the very first series all the way through Ultimatum and that ridiculously stupid ending to Ultimatum that ruined, everybody was so ticked off about how dumb they ended that. And then they started this other stuff. And let me explain what this is. If HBO had the rights to the Avengers and did a series about the Avengers on the HBO channel, that's this comic book, right? Like, this is it opens up and I should show you guys this. It's so phenomenal. The artwork in this is just incredible. It has a fold out cover, big action scene, right? This is there was the bad guys and the good guys. So this is one of the bad guy covers, obviously. It opens up with a leaked sex tape of Tony Stark. And I believe Natasha Romanoff. Let me make sure about that. Yeah, it is. It's Black Widow. So they open up with getting on Tony because he got in the sex tape that was released, right? Wanda and Pietro have a Jamie and and Cersei Lannister thing going on, where they're twins and lovers type Targaryen business, right?
Yeah, that Ultimate series was wild.
This particular piece of art was made into a variant. It's considered one of the best pieces of art showing Black Panther, certainly in the Ultimate Universe. You see that image on a lot of different promotional things, and this was a white variant, a white background variant that I can pull out and show you later. But still, the artwork in this, like every single, this ended up being a variant cover. This is Ultimate Valkyrie. I mean, like almost every piece of art in this book could be cover art. You know, modern books today, the interior art's usually garbage. But this is a great read. Like I said, it's a mature read. It's an HBO story, right? And I will never get tired of reading this. This particular issue, I love this one. This is Falcon and Captain America. There's a guy who's bleaching the skin of all the African Americans, and he was one of the Nazi scientists who's trying to get rid of the lesser races, so to speak.
Oh wow.
And I think this has a much better take on race relations and how we get past that. And they treated this extremely intelligently. I think it's a powerful issue and worth picking up and reading if you see it in a back bin. Like I said, the Ultimate Universe was a dry run for the MCU. What would happen if superheroes came to the modern world type of a situation? I'll show a little racy issue. I bought 50 or so Carlos rule books, right? I've got them full box, but this is a fun one here. It's one of these stylized photo covers where they did the art over a real photo, exposure. Girly cop things. You got some tentacle action there for all you Japanese manga fans. I saw this and it was just a striking cover, so I picked it up, right? And I was talking about DC here. I'm sorry, I know I always get carried away and run too long in this stuff. I kind of separated it out in piles here. Yeah, I do have one. I think you're going to be excited about this next thing I'm going to show you after this. So I've been trying to fill out some House of Mystery. This is a famous Neil Adams cover. Famous Neil Adams cover, I believe. It's Neil Adams. Yeah, it's Neil Adams. So I like the concept of the House of Mystery, so I decided I need to at least read some of these stories and have a better feel for what's going on here. So I bought myself a couple cheaper copies just so I can kind of read up on them. Some cool covers there. Yeah, I'll save that for the next round. This is a cool one. I saw this. I picked it up immediately. I was on a bent here a year or so ago to pick up every first appearance of a character who wielded Captain America's shield. There's a set number of characters who wielded Captain America's shield, and Jack Flag is one of them. That's who this is Jack Flag. It's not Vance Astro, which he's the guy who becomes Captain Universe. I believe this is Jack Flag. Vance Astro is Major Victory. I could have swore this was Jack Flag. Could be wrong. Anyways, 90s foily cover goodness. Can't go wrong there, right? I saw these. I've heard about this from Vertigo Comics. The Icelandic trilogies from the Northlanders. This was another one of these things rumored to be optioned. This was the final issue of the series, so I grabbed this one up because usually final issues are some of the hardest ones to collect. The interior art was kind of fantastic, and then I picked up this one shot from Northlanders called Thor's Daughter. Looked pretty cool to me, so I'm interested just to read this one. Of course, there was no boards and bags on them, but they're actually look like they're new old stock. So I saw this book and I thought of you, Carlos. Now, many of you know I'm big into Mesoamerican cultures, architecture, especially the big megalithic builders. So anytime I see anything with Aztecs or Incans or Mayans on it, I'm buying it. So I saw this book. It was called Aztec Ace from Eclipse Comics. It's kind of just a tag name for this duo of male and female pilots that run around. And there was a lot of reels in the 30s. Okay, these adventure reels of guys in planes flying around, fighting little baddies, exploring uncharted worlds. That was in the movie
really cool.
30s, right? And then in the 40s too, which is a direct. This book right here is a direct ancestor of this book right here.
Oh wow!
This is an old Mage book. I bought 2 copies of this. I've got 2 of them in the press right now. I'd show you my other covers. But this is a male and female team up. This is a 1948 book, right? You've got the Batwing super jet, right? And you see the female's the pilot in this one, which people like to think that we didn't portray females as capable in the comic book world, but we certainly did. So she's out there and he's tied up, and she is coming to the rescue. She is coming to rescue her. So at any rate, they have these cool guys with the diving helmets on them. Golden Age books are getting harder and harder to find, and it seems like I can only lay my hands on them in September, early October, and then they go back into hiding again. So the guy had a bunch. I wish I should have went back and bought more, but of course, I was kind of on a budget, which didn't last very long. But at any rate, I went a little long in this segment. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I'm going to turn it back over to Carlos. I've got a bunch of cool more Silver Age keys, a few more obscure books, and a few more full run collections I bought. I bought some full run collections I wanna share with you. So.
Wow. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you, MT, for sharing all that. I'm going to go ahead and let's bring it back over here. So I have been, like MT, I've been reclaiming the time, using this time also to bag, board, and package. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and showcase a couple of books that I picked up at my LCS. Paul was showing off the one of them that was there, but he left a couple of scraps for me, so I was real excited about that. I also have a stack of Submariner books released from their old and nasty bags. I'll share about those as well. Okay, so here is, well, real quick. Oh, I wish I had his eBay name. I'll look that up for the last segment. Okay, so these 3 books came from my local comic shop, Bedrock City Comics here in Houston, Texas. They have awesome online Wednesday night claim sales, so those are a cool one to watch. But fun stuff. I always, of course, recommend some of our friend channels, but they have a great thing going on Facebook Live. So in their back issue bins, I found 3 cool. I guess these would be Copper Age, Copper to Bronze, 1977, 76, 77. MT is Copper.
You're still kind of in bronze there. You're
Okay.
in bronze.
Okay. So as I shared in my top 10 list for Spider-Man comics that you should be picking up right now, I'll get on these little kicks sometimes because I do the research for the videos, and I'm like, man, hey, I really want to pick that book up. So one of those was Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man #1. This is issue #1, and this was, like I shared in the video, this was, I think, the second self-titled Spider-Man book to debut after The Amazing Spider-Man. He'd also been, previously he had been in Marvel Team Up, and then as that came to a close, they went ahead and launched Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man to give him a second ongoing title. It had been the Marvel Team Up, but this was the next one. So this copy is only about a 5.5. It does need some tender loving care. It's going to need a little bit of cleaning and some pressing, but it's a solid copy. It's all in one piece. It is complete, and it was a pretty good deal on it. So because it was buried in the back issue bin with some other new Spectacular Spider-Man books that had been placed there. So I made sure to grab this because I wanted one. I wanted to have one for the personal collection, and then also with it in the same section was Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 10. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that this is the second part of the White Tiger's comic book debut. Now, he is the first Hispanic superhero created by Marvel. He originally debuted in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19, which was a martial arts magazine published by Marvel. And that he was drawn and co-created by George Perez, who also does the cover art for this and for number 9. Number 9 is the more iconic cover that you'll recognize because those of us on the different shows are always showing it. This is number 9. Well, the second part is number 10 right here that picks up the story, and it's a 2-issue story, a lot of fun, and I do recommend it. If you're into Hispanic superheroes, or if you if there's something about this character, the character design does pique your interest. This was relatively inexpensive. This is at least an 8.0. Does need a press, and I was missing a number 10 because I try to have a 9 and a 10 together for every set that I've got. So I needed an extra number 10. He had it, the number 9, of course. You know who had gone in before me and picked it up, called me to gloat about it, and then I proceeded to ask him, well, was there a number 1? And he said, yeah, there was. I said, so you left the number 1, but you got the number 9? I was like, awesome. I was like, no, mission achieved. White Tiger is in the front and center of people's minds, at least one. So this is number 10. Yeah, he should have picked this up to keep it with the number 1. Make sure keep an eye out for 9 and 10 because they are great books to have. Some way he's going to make his, even though they're retconning Namor to be of Hispanic descent as well. Mayan, yeah, which would, I guess, mean the Central American. But yeah, I still believe that in some way, shape, or form, White Tiger is going to make it into the MCU because even if they use the current version, which is his younger sister, yeah, he's still going to show up somehow. I know who I'd love to see play him if it was an older, kind of like if he was the older version. And there was a
type of thing you're thinking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, a lot like Ant-Man. Think Ant-Man, but with Ant-Man being the younger sister, and then the Hank Pym being taken on by an older.
We had a White Tiger in the Daredevil Netflix series, did we not?
I don't remember. I don't know.
I believe we did. She was the female. She was in the ring fight. She was fighting in the ring, and then she teamed up with him for a while. I believe that was White Tiger.
I need to look that up. I need to look into that because I don't recall that at all. But if it was, that's cool. I hope it was a good representation.
Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I believe that was the case.
So, okay. So the Saga of the Swamp Thing number 1 in a 9.0 or better.
Nice.
Also hanging out in the back issue bins. MT and Edwin Price have been having an impact on me. I'm always on the lookout now for these Bronze and Copper Age DC horror books. So yeah. I do pick them up. So yeah, I saw this and I picked it up, looked at it, and I said, man, this thing is sharp. So I'm going to go ahead and snag this out of the back issue bin. So I brought that home, and that'll go nice tucked into a box here. And live here for a little while. All right, let's show off some of these Submariner books, and then I'm going to pass it back over to MT. So this was part of a massive lot that I bought off of eBay. So here's issues, and they're not rebagged yet. Issues that, they're all like the best condition one might be an 8.0. So, it was just basically a bulk buy. I don't know that anything in there was super high grade, but I wanted some Submariner books to read. So here's issues 1 and 2 from the 90s run. both in decent condition. I'd say they're about a 7.5, possibly. Yeah, the one is not higher than a 7.5. Also, per MT's recommendation, but I was gypped on this, was the 4-issue limited series Prince Namor, the Submariner. I got issue number 1. I got issue number 2. And then I got, issue number 3. And then I got 2 copies of issue number 4 instead of a copy of number 2. So that stinks. But, I got 3 out of the 4, and they're readable. So, okay, then the next one was there. So there was a 12-part limited series called the Saga of the Submariner. I got issues 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. I'll flip through those real quick. Great reading material. If you haven't, these had some cool covers. One of them is the cover is coming off of it. So I don't know. Some of this, at least half of this lot is probably destined for my dollar box, to refill my dollar box. But I got a couple cool books out of it, so I'm not too upset about it. All right, and then here's 10, and then this is 12. 12 had a decent cover. Let me see, who did the cover on? Buckler did the cover on. Buckler and McLeod.
What issue?
This is 12 from the Saga of the.
Oh yeah. That's not a series I see very often.
It's not, and that's why part of the reason I got excited, because this had most of it, but they're in pretty terrible. I mean, a couple of them are in pretty terrible condition. Like, they're not. I'm not going to keep them because they're not even readable. Look, the number 8.
That brings up an interesting point. I tell you guys, if you know that a book has mildew or mold on it, you need to segregate that from your population.
Mold, no, I mean, there's no mildew or mold on these.
I just wanted to make that comment because I recently got some that are in quarantine right now.
Okay, so I will show some more of those on the next round, and I hope there's none of these have mildew or mold. I mean, I can't see anything. I definitely don't smell anything. So they're just, they just were hanging out in somebody's long box and finally got sold. I think is.
Yeah.
They just, it was just old bags and boards. So, okay. So that is the remainder of my round. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to MT. MT, I'm going to step downstairs for just a moment, and I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, you may want to see this. I'll start with this before you run away. I found a bunch of Star Slayer books. And I don't know what I did with the other ones. They, of course, didn't have the first Rocketeer, but they did have the first Grimjack from Star Slayer. Star Slayer was kind of like a pirate, galactic pirate, Jolly Roger type of guy that ran around. And this is where we had the first appearance of the Rocketeer, which they're relaunching that movie. Grimjack is in that type. So it's a cool, obscure series. It was put out by First Comics. It made a trending list here because of the Rocketeer movie, right? So I bought, I don't know, a bunch of these. Those of you who like Garth Ennis, I saw this Garth Ennis #1 and couldn't pass this up. This looked like what was that movie where they were bowling with the dude? That's what that kind of reminded me of. So I'm interested to see what this one's all about in Caliber Comics. From the hot mega series Preacher and Hitman to the most popular creators in comics today, we weave a strange tale of two jaunty friends and their mad escapades. Oh yeah, that's a mature content. At any rate, low life degenerates, probably worth a read. Garth Ennis always comes up with good stuff. He did The Boys. I got a ton of Zenoscope books for my pull box. Yeah, I can't show those. Can't show that. Can't show that. Oh, here's a cool set. I was able to get almost an entire run. This is by Image Comics. Most of these were drawn by Mike Deode Jr., but I believe some of these were drawn by Michael Turner. Could be wrong about that. At any rate, I was able to get almost an entire run. I got both covers of number 1. I was missing issue 3, but I got the rest of them here. Just a great series. I kind of have a soft spot for patriotic books and pinup books. And that one's an iconic cover. And so is this one coming up right here with Angela. Angela made her move into the MCU. This was a famous photo cover variant of number 12. So it was kind of interesting that I was able to get the full run. The guy had great prices. He cut me a deal because I bought a ton of books from him. So it was kind of cool to be able to get a near entire run of this book. There's a Liefeld. You can always tell a Liefeld, right? His artwork is very distinctive. So at any rate, that was a cool series from Maximum Press. That's a Strucker. Churchill did that one. Okay. At any rate, cool series. I might get through a lot of these. I bought some more 1602 books. I've talked about this in the past. I think that the writing on this, it won a bunch of awards. That's if the superheroes had come during the age of the founding of and the first colonies of America in the Elizabethan age with Queen Elizabeth on the throne. She's a major character in this series. Some great artwork in there. And speaking of great artwork, I thought I had these in order. Sorry. Yeah, people would like to see that one and this one. Speaking of great artwork, I love the art in this run. This was the Secret Warriors run. The story in this was excellent. Excellent stories about the Howling Commandos and the new version of the Secret Warriors that we may be seeing. Quake led the team. Quake that was on the TV show for Marvel. This also has the big key book about Contessa Valentina's in this. That's a Quake cover right there. Ares' son, the god of fear, who's the little kid in here, plays heavily in this story. This is when the Dark Avengers took over. The Avengers disbanded, became outlawed after Civil War. The Dark Avengers stood in, and Ares was the Thor counterpart to the Dark Avengers. And that's actually not Hawkeye. That is Bullseye, who dressed up to become the new Hawkeye in the Dark Avengers. So then you've got Norman Osborn, Baron Strucker, Nick Fury. Was a great read. For some reason, I thought that this was a key book, The New Defenders 140. Can't for the life of me remember why. The minute I saw it, I'm like, I need to buy that. Another really great story, great run, and phenomenal artwork was in this Punisher War Journal series. And I bought a couple more of these. But he infiltrates this skinhead biker gang where they're creating more Nazi super soldiers. And this is after Captain America dies. Okay, Captain America got shot. He goes and steals Captain America's costume to go fight these Nazi skinhead biker gang. And you can see he kind of painted the skull on there, but that's Cap's uniform. Cap comes back to life and confronts the Punisher about stealing his uniform, and Cap starts beating on him, and the Punisher refuses to strike him back because he's a vet, so he served in the military, and he refused to lift to raise his hands to Captain America. It was a very powerful page that went on, and he said he took it out of respect to him, but the interior artwork on this was phenomenal. There is a great Craven, which I think is some of the best artwork done for Craven the Hunter. It was just a couple issues before this, Punisher War Journal. You see this in back bins. Not only is it just great artwork and a great read, but you can usually pick it up pretty cheap, right? This was a cool book, Force Works. It has a pop-up. I don't know if you can see this. There's a pop-up on the cover, and the pop-up is still sealed. I thought about popping it up for you guys on the channel here just so we could all look at it together to save you from having to destroy a book should you find it. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe that's good for ratings, huh, Carlos? Because if you bought this comic and it was still sealed, would you pull out the pop-up? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, it's maybe a $5 comic book, maybe a little bit more, but great wraparound cover with the Black Widow I grew up with, which is Julia Carpenter, or I'm sorry, Spider Woman, Julia Carpenter. Yeah. And then you got Wonder Man, of course. That looks like Wanda. Yeah, that's got to be Wanda. Very 90s. So you can see that the pop-up is still sealed. Has not been popped up. So I guess we're going to destroy a comic book live here on the air. See how this. Oh, speaking of, before I do that, because I'm like really apprehensive about doing that. Let me show you, gang. You saw this was firmly attached. I had tape on the cover, especially if you're at a convention, you're handling somebody else's expensive book and you happen to get tape on the cover. You could end up paying for that book or paying the damages on that book. And I'm here to tell you it can be fixed. And I just fixed this in a matter of minutes when Carlos is talking. I want to clearly show you the piece of tape that there is no ink on the tape. So this book was not damaged whatsoever by me removing the tape, right? There's a special technique I use to do this that doesn't involve a hairdryer, doesn't involve that, but you can see that there's absolutely no ink removed from this paper. And usually you get really mad, you end up pulling it off, whatever. This is why I get rid of clear tape. Clear tape is highly acidic adhesive. It should be nowhere near your comic books. You need to be. Here's what I use. I'm going to tell you what I use, guys. And if you bought books from me before, you know this. I buy multi-use labels. You see the light blue there, Carlos?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can read that. Can you read what that says?
No, not quite. Removable.
So if you happen to get it stuck on your comic, it can be removed without damaging it. That's a big key. And these are also wide labels, so I can write some key information on the back, or if there's certain damage on the book or something I want to note, I write it right here on this label.
Nice.
Good little key to have. These aren't terribly expensive. You can also buy them in the printer sheets, where like you print a whole 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and you can pull the little. So if you want to buy them in bulk, you can do that. Usually, every time I'm at Walmart, I just buy a couple packs. There's how many? 72 in a pack, so it goes a decent distance. So at any rate, I want to show you that that's possible, and you can save your books and save your wallet from destroying a comic book that the world could otherwise enjoy. So another good trick I want to show you guys, because I was just at a convention and I had to deal with people who put clear tape on their comics. This is what you do. Somebody shows you a book or whatever, allows you to take the book out. Usually I want the guy who owns the book to pull it out and hand it to me.
Yep.
Okay. If that's not the case, this is what you do. You pull the piece of tape off. You put the piece of tape back on the bag. So just the slightest little bit is hanging over down here. You pull the comic book out. You put it on the top. So the adhesive is facing you. So when you look at the book, you're holding it like this with it on top. The adhesive is facing down on this little tab here. You look at your book, you pick it straight up when you're done, you put it right back in the bag. That's a good, if you just get into doing that on the regular, it becomes muscle memory, and it greatly reduces your risk of damaging a book that you may not want and have to pay for. So good little trick if you're at a show or looking at somebody else's book on what to do with clear tape if they are insistent upon using it. So now I've removed this piece of clear tape that has absolutely no ink on it, no paper on it. And I'm going to put one of my removable labels on this. And it goes in the box. These were Kirby monster books, Creatures on the Loose. Cool thing about Creatures on the Loose, because I bought a bunch of these. If I can pull these out real quick. What did I do with those? Okay, here we go. Creatures on the Loose was taken over by King Kull. This also, Creatures on the Loose started as Kirby monster books and then transitioned into King Kull. This is a Warriors of Mars book, but then you get in. I mean, there's some awesome covers on here. And let me see if it's in here. I love that cover. Isn't it an awesome cover?
It is. I like it.
I guess it's not in this stack, but the first appearance of Thulsa Doom is in Creatures on the Loose.
Really?
Thulsa Doom was a longtime Conan universe.
Yeah.
It was the evil wizard that was portrayed in the Conan the Conqueror movie by James Earl Jones. In the comic books, he's got a skull head like Skeletor does. But, you know, big time villain. He was in the movies, played by James Earl Jones. Thulsa Doom's first appearance is in Creatures on the Loose. Little known fact. Because you'd think it'd be in a Conan book, but it's not.
Yeah.
Creatures on the Loose.
That blew my mind. Hey, some people are asking for your. I think everybody knows my opinion of like how much I love my Blue Painters tape, but they're asking what you think of it.
I buy it by the case. That's all I use.
Awesome.
But this is what I use in packaging, right? I'm a little OCD when it comes to. I like the tops of my books sealed tightly. I like that they sit neatly in a box. I don't like when you got a piece of tape that's like jagged on the edges. Probably just because I'm OCD about it. I think it looks.
Let me show something real quick. All right. So for those who, because I'm just as OCD as MT, so I actually sit here. I'm going to admit this live on air, MT. Okay. I sit here with my blue tape because I'm rebagging and boarding books. I pull my desired length, and I literally sit here in every book. Yep. Yeah. So that all my books have a little square piece.
That is far more acceptable to me. Absolutely.
And then for those who are asking about white painter's tape, I buy nothing but the dual-edged Sharpies, and I use the fine edge to write my notes for my comics on. I'll show a personal collection book that won't go up for sale. I write the grade, a note, and then what I paid for it.
Right.
So I probably shouldn't show that part, but you know,
that's fine.
Who will? Yeah. But you know, you gotta, especially when you get into higher and higher volumes, you got to keep track of what you. And doing it in my CLZ app on my phone, you know, it's got to be right there on the comic.
That is a great point there, Pete Sake. That the Tower of Shadows actually had some Tower of Shadows. I was going to pull out to make that comment. Thank you for Pete Sake. For Pete, Brandon really knows his old books. He collects some great stuff. He's got a great eye, and he certainly has a depth of comic book knowledge as well. Here's another creatures where creatures roam. So there's creatures on the loose, where creatures roam, journey into mystery, creatures on the loose, creatures roam. So there's those two creature titles. Just some really cool stuff. Pit and the Pendulum I got, which tells us this won some awards. Was another kind of anthology type series.
That looks really cool.
Chamber of Chills.
Yes.
I love Easter Island covers. I've got the biggest Easter Island cover back there in Tales of Astonish #5. Here's another monster book. The monsters are coming, beware. And somehow I can't find very many of these, but I've got 3 copies of this particular issue. I don't know how it is. I can't find any other ones. Crypt of Shadows. It's another title. I wanted to pull a bunch of these titles I've been chasing down. Enter into Fear, which becomes the Man-Thing title. There's just so many obscure titles in the Bronze Age. It's been fun to chase them down. You know, you think you've got all the comics memorized, and then you find this new little niche corner, and you've got a lot of new stuff to get excited about. So yeah, there's all my creatures on the loose. Okay, I kind of wanted to transition into this after my. Here's one I did. See, I had all kinds of stuff staged to build on one another. I jumped the gun on this, and maybe we'll get back to Force Works here. I was showing those new Warrior books. This is the Key New War Secret Warriors book 6, where Contessa Valentina becomes the new Madam Hydra. And this is obviously a very stunning booty book. Negative space variant. So this is the variant cover to probably the biggest key in this run, issue #6. Interior artwork on this is phenomenal. The story on this is phenomenal. If you like James Bond type stuff, this is very much in that genre with a superhero team tied to that. They very much homage and pay attention to the early Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. books, and they all homage the Howling Commandos, which was a very diverse World War team, Special Forces team. They had people from all over, and it was a great book. So anyways, I want to show you guys this because it's taken me a long time to find a copy of this. Long time. Everybody wanted full-blown retail on this. Finally got a little bit of a deal on this one, but happy to finally add this to the ranks. Some other Golden Age books I picked up, and I think Pete, you have to tell me, Pete Saga, for some reason, when I own a Golden Age book, I seem to come across another copy of it. And this is one I've owned 3 or 4 of now. Gorekill, the Living Demon. This is Tales of Suspense 12. So very, very early Marvel stuff. This is pre-code. In fact, this might be Atlas. This may not even be Marvel yet. This is right around the time when the switch happened. We'll pull it out and take a look at it. But anyways, Kirby monster books are magic. If you ever hold one in your hand, there is some magic to the artwork of these books. There's some depth of field to these that I don't get on even some Silver Age books. Yeah, this is not a Marvel book. This is pre-Marvel. So as some of you may or may not know, Marvel wasn't always around. Marvel started as Timely Comics. It was Atlas Comics. It was Mail Comics, I think, for a while. There's another one that I'm missing here. That were all under the house that would be known as Marvel, the House of Marvel. This is one of the Mail publishing ones. So they were kind of short-lived, but this is still Marvel continued the numbering straight up through the 60s. But this is actually a really nice copy. It's got a little chip out of the top corner, a little color rub, but otherwise 4.0s in Golden Age is like getting an 8.0 in the Silver Age. They're just so hard to get, right? I think I showed this last time. Paste Pot Pete. I kind of parted one of those, unfortunately. Gugam is one that that I was able to get a little bit better copy, so I'm replacing it. So this is the one that is on its way out. Someone wrote the 12 cent on there, which is not supposed to matter, but this is the son of Goom. Goom is a big time Kirby monster book. This is the son of Goom, but it's Tales of Suspense 17. So we're still talking very early numbers of Tales of Suspense. And if you can't tell, I am a sucker for dark blue backgrounds and blue backgrounds with yellow lettering on my Tales of Suspense. Not all of them had that. Here's another Tales of Suspense I recently picked up. This is the first green thing, so they changed the color patterns of Tales of Suspense, but these ones in particular, Journey into Mystery up there on my shelf. I love the dark blue on or the yellow lettering on dark blue or light blue backgrounds. I don't know what it is. Sucker for it. Strange Tales did the same thing. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I guess we all have our fancies, right? Here's a cool book. Awesome sci-fi cover. Fantastic Voyage. A lot of these Golden Key books, fantastic painted artwork. This is not one of the wraparound covers. So I guess there's no point in taking that out. But still, I saw it, immediately had to have it. Love cool aliens, monsters. That was cool. Okay, so Roman Curtis kind of has an affinity for Hyperion. And I think Roman Curtis has his finger on the pulse from time to time, and he really gets out ahead of some characters. He's a lover of Namor. He was the one that turned us all on to that Dracula book that's now impossible to buy. But Hyperion Supreme Power was a collected run from the Max series, which was the precursor to the Ultimates type thing, where it was adult content, very much HBO type content. Yeah. Supreme Power Hyperion. I remember
the Supreme Power 12-issue Maxi series that led into that was phenomenal.
Okay.
It was very good.
I can remember reading an odd issue from that series, but not this one, not the 5-issue series. Yeah. So this is one
I haven't read that one.
Have not read, so I'm kind of interested to maybe read this one. Because it's J. Michael Straczynski, it's Jurgens. Hard to go wrong with J. Michael Straczynski. He did the seminal Thor run to bring Thor into the modern age after they killed Thor at the end of Ragnarok, which is another fantastic storyline. J. Michael Straczynski brought him back. That's where we got the iconic female Loki version that all the girls I was at a con. There was a female Loki that I entered the con right behind, and she was dressed up as the J. Michael Straczynski version of the female Loki, who she steals Sif's skin and pretends to be Sif, which actually comes out of the original folklore. Okay, Paul has been talking a lot about this recently. This is the Hood, the Dark Reign complete set 1 through 5. The Hood is like the leader of a gang of B-list villains. The Wrecking Crew's in here. His girlfriend in this is Madame Mask. She's kind of like the number 2. Who does number 2 work for? What happens, a little bit of spoilers here, when they started the New Avengers, they took all the most popular selling characters from Marvel, and put them on the Avengers, which become the New Avengers. That's Iron Man, Wolverine. They put Luke Cage in there. They put Spider-Man in there finally. Captain America.
And Spider-Woman.
And Jessica Drew comes on in issue 4. Jessica Drew comes in her classic suit. So at any rate, they needed somebody to have this long lasting conflict with. So it starts out with, and this is it, And this is the deep cuts that Jason Aaron does. Like he writes stuff into stories that don't pay off for like 20 or 30 issues later. He is the king of writing a long narrative that really gets you buying issue after issue to find out what happens. Because really, the events that happened in New Avengers #1 would not pay off until the secret invasion, Skrull invasion, a couple years, 2 years later. And you go back and reread those Avengers, New Avengers early, and you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe he was on top of that way back when. Anyways, Electro breaks all of the villains off of the raft. The raft is the prison for all of the super powered villains that was in that movie. And so the Hood leads up that gang, and the Hood has got a demon. He's got demon powers, but he uses two Colt 45 guns, runs around. Actually, they're like 1911 45 caliber 1911 pistols. But at any rate, that's one that I bought off the shelf and read, and so I kind of wanted a near mint set. I got one. Happy about it. Okay, I have teased this before. I did not buy this run off the shelf. I love the Skrull Kill Crew. All right, now this, you guys are gonna love this. This Skrull Kill Crew, like I said, you go back to the early Fantastic Four, the first time the Skrulls appeared in the Marvel Universe, Reed Richards talks them into being cows to live on Earth and not be killed. And then they end up being processed and turned into hamburgers. And so all these different people end up eating the hamburger meat from the Skrull cows, and they get Skrull powers, right? So this is how the Skrull Kill Crew came about. And this guy right here is the leader of the Skrull Kill Crew, and like he's got this arm that turns into this ridiculous gun. Like it's way over the top, kind of like Pulp Fiction kind of violence, cartoon violence type of over the top thing. So the Wolverine's in this one, but this particular issue right here, where the cow gets the gun face. Because it's the Skrull homages back to the cow from the original Fantastic Four. This image has been used in a lot of different stuff over the years and like spoof books and whatnot. So I saw that, I had to pick it up. I've got one more, and I'm going to kick it back to Mr. Carlos here. And I've got maybe one more segment worth of stuff I could talk about. I did get this, Carlos. Because you and I and Paul were talking a lot about corporate raider Namor, who half the time he's in a business suit, right?
Yes.
And this one's where you go to Kunlun from Shang-Chi. Then I got a run of the Tales to Astonish reprints of the original Submariners. First Tiger Shark. Even the Tales to Astonish reprint, that's a big book. Thanks, Spidey Girl. Speaking of which, I did say I was going to kick it back, and maybe I should, but I'll show you these other ones up close that I got. I got a bunch of Submariners too. This is kind of more of a reader copy, and I'm going to come back around to this because there's something in this comic book everybody should know about. This is the second part of the Serpent Crown. The Serpent Crown origin. Serpent Crown was in tons and tons of comics, including the Captain America comic books. There was a big story called Atlantis Attacks, where the Serpent Crown was at the center. This might be the first appearance of Lobster guy here. I don't remember his name. This is a huge key Strange Tales iconic battle between the Thing, Submariner, and the Human Torch. Great cover there. This is the first appearance of Toro in the Silver Age. He was the original Human Torch, not the Fantastic Four Human Torch, but the original Torch from the Golden Age. James Hammond was his name, and he was actually a robot, a living robot from the iconic Marvel Comics #1, one of the biggest books in the Marvel comic universe. And his kid sidekick was called Toro. And Toro went on to have a life of his own, but this is when Toro comes back, and then I think he dies again in this issue. But he would be brought back in the Winter Soldier saga that was written, won all the Eisner Awards when they introduced the Winter Soldier. First thing Bucky did when he came back, remember he was Bucky, was went to the grave of Toro. But I'm running a little long-winded here as usual. I just get so excited about talking comic books I can't stop, right? In this issue, Submariner defiles a dolphin. You heard it here first.
What?
This is like the Alf seal, where he defiles the seal on the cover of the famous Alf comic. It happened, gang. He is fighting some underwater baddies here, starts having this weird conversation with a dolphin, and then on the next panel we get that questionable exchange. At any rate, so I wanted to look this up to see if it made the weird, obscure type comic book rankings, but at any rate, I thought that was funny. Okay, I'm going to kick this back to Carlos. I'm going to show maybe one or two more books, and I think we'll probably be done. Where are we at? Because we're like in an hour and a half already, right?
Oh yeah. No, I'm done. I'm done for the night. If you want to wrap it up with a couple more shows,
I'll just show this. I bought the entire run of Black Terror. This was when Alex Ross brought all the Golden Age heroes back around the mid-2000s. And Black Terror is why we have the Punisher today. Black Terror was known for going too far, being too violent. Actually, a lot of people got killed in the Golden Age. It was during the war period. So people being shot in a comic book was not necessarily that shocking. But the Black Terror used to have swords, and he was basically Punisher in the Golden Age. And people don't realize that that's where Punisher came from, was this character, the Black Terror. Great book. All right, well, if nobody's got any other questions or comments or anything else they'd like to see, Where Monsters Dwell. Emilio, what's up, buddy, if you're still with us? Don't write them on the book and then put the tape on the book. That's a good point, Trax. And I thought about Trax said I just cut the tape, and I thought about what he was saying there. I know exactly what he means. So, like, if you have a piece of tape like this, instead of pulling the piece of tape off, Trax is saying you should just cut the piece of tape like this. Then it's stuck on the bag. There's no chance it's going to get stuck on anything else. I did a poor job cutting that, sorry. That's what he says by cutting the tape. So sorry, Trax. I knew what you meant after I thought about it for a while. One Shot, Scar, Son of Hulk, great book. At any rate, thanks. I think that's about it. I think we're about wrapping up here.
Cool.
Thanks for being with us. Appreciate you suffering through me talking comics here. I like my books. I like talk comics. I get carried away sometimes, but such is the way, huh?
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight, and thank you MT for sharing about all those books. I love looking at those old Precious Metals horror books and science fiction stuff, especially that painted cover one that you showed. I think it's Fantastic Voyage.
Oh, Fantastic Voyage, yeah.
So for everybody that is watching, just a quick speaking of precious metals books and precious materials, we broke 1,000 subscribers on the channel just about a week ago, and so we're going to be scheduling our 1,000 subscriber milestone giveaway episode. That's going to be, it might even include MT creating the greatest / worst packaging in the planet to send some of the prizes out. But one of the prizes that I'm going to be giving out, as I had promised, it is not just going to be comic books given out. So one of the prizes is this package of Mylite 2s. These are fairly pricey. These are some really nice Mylar bags. This is a packet of 50 silver/golden age comic book size bags. This is just one of the prizes that's going to be given away during our 1,000 subscriber milestone giveaway celebration. It'll probably be coming up in a few weeks here, but in case you're looking for something a little bit sooner, on Wednesday night we'll be doing the giveaway show. This week we're going to be focusing on some action figure and comic book combos, and then also just talking about a couple of favorite action figure comics, some other stuff like that, and then also some ideas for how to display your stuff, because Paul has such an awesome display behind him all the time with really cool books in the pink room. Make sure you're here for that, 10 p.m. Central. Next Monday night, we're going to have a very special episode of Monday Hauls. It's going to be it's going to be episode number 60, the Super Slab Special. And we're going to try to start doing that once a month. I have almost a whole box of slabs that have come in to show off, to share with you and give you some background on them. One of them so we've got plenty of those that are coming up. Make sure to, and we'll have, I think Press Niche Worldwide, the presser extraordinaire, is going to be on with us as well to share some slabs that he's picked up. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. MT will be here to provide commentary and show off. I'm sure he's got you have slabs in there too, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
giving them away. I got too many. I started giving them away. I will say, okay, so I received 12 copies of this comic book today, and this is the only one I think that might be a 9.6 or a 9.8. It needs a little bit of cleaning, but
you said 12 copies of them?
12 copies arrived today. Yep.
Gosh.
Well, you got to buy a lot to be able to get a good one.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I mean, I probably shouldn't do that, but usually, if I'm chasing a book, I usually buy.
Yeah, you go all out. I got it.
But, and then I can bring it to you guys. I can share the community and pass it along. But I'm excited. I'm super excited because this is so hard. So hard. Order so many of these, hoping to God that one of them's got a chance. And I think this one might. Doesn't this look like to you? Look at this. I'm sorry to drag this out. Doesn't this look like the artist from the Archie comics?
The artist from the Archie comics?
Tell me that doesn't look like an Archie comic to you.
It does, yeah. It actually looks like Archie to the left.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to distract there, but go on.
All right.
And I was going to tell you that this box is full. This is how many more comics arrived today that I didn't even show you. So I did show some modicum of restraint. So.
All right. Well, hey, y'all, thank y'all for being here and watching this week's episode of Monday Hauls Live. We'll be back next week, like I said, with slabs. And then the week after that with even more pickups. MT has always got books that he is ready and willing to share with us. So big thanks to you, MT, for being on as always.
Purple Source Rex. Remember
all right, hey, you guys have a great night. Take care. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to be here Wednesday night for the giveaway show, 10 p.m. Central. We will see you then.
See you guys.